Hi FPL managers, welcome to FPL Team Talk. In this video we're going to look at reasons why we should use a wildcard. Should we be using it or not? I've put a draft wildcard team together and I'm going to look at alternatives maybe for players in that wildcard. So it's early in the week. I want to get one of these done really early so we've got time to think about it. It may change later on depending on data, but let's jump straight into it. So first of all, when should I use my wildcard? I sort of devised a little bit of a sort of a ticket across here about what I thought I should use it for. Injuries and suspensions. This is one of the main reasons I'm going in. It's a bit of a mixture of everything. And currently we've got people like Ayling, Rafinha, Bamford's out. I know we've got DCL having been out for a period of time now. We had Antonio suspended. People would have had people like Tsimikas in the side, not perhaps brought them out. Bachmann's now lost his place in the Watford goal. So there's lots of changes, injury suspensions, players just being dropped as well. And that just means there's too much surgery to do with our free transfer. We only get one every week. So sometimes it's just a way of getting out of trouble. And I think that's absolutely perfectly fine to do so. Next then, I'll say fixture swings is another good reason. On top of those, currently we have Chelsea's fixture swings for game week 7. Look really tasty. You might want to get on board with those. Leeds still have some good fixtures. Southampton's fixtures change. Palace's get better. There's players in there that you might want to target. So fixture swings, getting ahead of the curve, jumping on those to get most points. Absolutely great reason to wildcard. Form is another one. It may be that you just have several players that are just not performing. Maybe their position has changed slightly in the side. Maybe they're now playing as a centre back as opposed to a fullback. We see sometimes Cresswell falling back into that position. It may be that we players like Chilwell we expected to play just aren't getting time. So it may be other players have got form. Kovacic coming up. El Nusi suddenly in the side. So suddenly we've got players that are in form or out of form you want to get on top of. Again, I think that's not a problem with wildcard. These three things, I think, in conjunction might just mean there's too much to do with your free transfers. It's time to wildcard. And currently I'm in a position where I have a bit of all of those. Reasons not to, I think panic. So many people already having wildcards so soon. I see in my own league 2 or 3 people after the second week and third week already using a wildcard. Not to be unexpected, but still I kind of feel like nothing's changed after that first week. If I've had a really good or bad week, I think that, well, those players are still fundamentally in that side for the same reason. Nothing's particularly changed about any of them. Why all of a sudden am I panicking and doing a wildcard after 2 weeks? So just avoid the panic. And I think that comes down to knee-jerk, which we'll look at in a minute as well. Prices, one of the best things that one of the managers, greatest all-time manager in the Hall of Fame had said was, just he is not interested in the prices. He will ignore the fluctuation in prices during the week, and then just on a Friday when he's got the press conferences, that's the most important time. He will then make his choices then. So he's not determined by prices. I thought that was really interesting. Just doesn't want to be stung by injuries after prices. The only time I'm trying to stick to that religiously. The only time I think is last night Morris was going down in price. I still had him in my side. I've taken him out because I don't think anything's going to change between last night and this morning, so I just wanted to avoid and save that 0.1. But I think if it was Thursday, maybe taking his advice, I might have held on to him. I don't know, it would have been a tough one, but I don't think this is a reason to wildcard to try and jump on prices. Remember, it's points that get you better rank, not prices. The knee-jerk, again, some bit of advice that we got from I've taken on board and it's really helped me is just don't make knee-jerk reactions. I'm never going to sort of make transfers and substitutions. I won't even activate my wildcard until later on in the week when I've heard all the news stories, I've heard press conferences, but I'm not going to make any even before the game week. I see lots of people transferring players in or out based on the fact that, you know, they haven't performed, there's a suspension or something's happened in the game and they're already on them. I don't quite get that. You will get bad weeks. No question. During the course of a season, it's 38, it's a marathon or sprint. You'll get bad weeks. If you've had a bad week, just calm down, take a few days, maybe walk away from the game altogether, and then have a look at it after a day or two. Okay? I think it makes the world of difference. Knee jerk, we all do it, and it's not a reason to wildcard. The other thing I'd say is we get another wildcard in the new year, so don't forget that. What I love about holding onto the wildcard, and I'm only 70% sure I'm going to play one right now, is that if I'm going to play it next week, I could just almost use this week as a little bit of a free hit. I can just target players for 1 week, not worry about what they've got the next week, knowing I'm going to wildcard. In an ideal world, I think I'd get to 3 weeks before Christmas and then think, right, I can wildcard just before the new one comes out, and I've got 3 weeks to just target 3 sets of fixtures and not worry anything beyond that. So that would be quite a nice position. That would be the dream, I think. But remember, you just got to pick and win and choose. Sometimes it's out of your hand when you're going to wildcard. And let's face it, it is fun to wildcard. It's absolutely fun to wildcard. It's wonderful to put together 11 new, 15 new, shiny new things all together and piece them up. And you can pick the best players that you've fixtures coming up. So I get it, and let's have a look at mine. Okay, so I've targeted Foster as absolutely no-brainer. He's the cheapest playing goalkeeper. He's taken over from Batman, and it looks, for all intents and purposes, as if he's going to be the new number 1 in that side. So he comes in, regardless of what you think about Watford, just having that backup goalkeeper as a playing goalkeeper just gives you an option that we didn't have there before at such a cheap price. Ramsdale, it would either Sanchez or Ramsdale for me. Ramsdale just looks like he's got great fixtures. I have slight reservations, only tiny, that he's played the last 2, but is he Arsenal true number 1, or will Leno take time off him? I think knowing I've got Foster in the background there helps me make that decision. I do prefer Ramsdale over Sanchez, and having Foster, knowing that I will have a goalkeeper that's playing, does give me that bit of security. I don't want to have to make a transfer on a goalkeeper later on. I want those 2 there, set and forget for me. So those fixtures for Ramsdale looks good. He's kept 2 clean sheets. Not saying Arsenal have turned a corner in particular, but I don't think they're ever a bad side. And I'm happy to go Ramsdale. I think his save potential is very good as well. In defence, then we're looking at Lamptey. I will talk about Lamptey in a little while. He's coming back from injury, 4.4. He's so cheap, and he's in a Brighton defence, which, yes, I still think I'd like to target. They're still good defensively. We'll have a look at Lamptey later on in the video, so I'm going to skip over him. Rudiger, really cheap way into that Chelsea defence. He looks as nailed on as anyone can be in that Chelsea defence. Christensen as well. He's only missed 1 game. If both Chelsea defenders there, play every game, brilliant. I suspect at times, though, 1 will be dropped. So I've got cover there, and I have it in this form of Alexander-Arnold. His fixtures might be really tough, but look at that XG, 0.72. It just blows away everyone else in the field there. So that's XGI, expected goal involvement per 90 minutes, 0.72. His average point, something like 8.5 per game. He's just been incredible this season. He's just got to be an absolute must-have in that side. Even at that price, I don't care. He's coming in. Livramento nailed on that Southampton defence. They kept 2 clean sheets away at Manchester City and West Ham. His XG there, 0.2, is still pretty good. Given that Southampton's fixtures have been quite tough. They've had to play away at Everton. Not sure if you call that maybe a grey fixture. They've played at Manchester United at home, Man City away. Then they had West Ham. So their fixtures have not been great. But they're keeping clean sheets. They'll become a lot tighter. And he does offer a little bit of attacking potential. I can think of a couple of occasions when I think it was Gineppo scored, put one over the bar when he should have scored. Livramento's really getting forward. And there's also been rumours about him moving into a right-hand sided midfield to allow Kelvin Walker-Peters to get back, get his place back at right back. At the moment, he's switched to the other flank though, so at the moment it looks like Livramento is just still that attacking fullback. But he looks like, for that price, he's a great player to have on the bench. Looking into my midfield then, Rafinha's 6.5. He's got a flag on this week, but suspect that he'll play. If not, I just want to set and forget Rafinha for the rest of the season. His XG is not wildly impressive, 0.38. I just have faith in Rafinha, and I think that Leeds side, if they can get over this little blip with the injuries, I still think they're so attacking. He's part of that. I think he's still a great player. For me, Rafinha comes in at 6.5. No one better than him. Salah, not even going to go into that. He's just been brilliant. Gallagher, look at his 1.02. Think Palace's fixtures, they've got a couple of tough ones, then they get better. Palace, everything seems to go through Gallagher at the moment. He looks a real bargain. His price has obviously gone up, and that XG is just incredible. I don't suspect for a minute he will keep that up, but if he even halves that, I'm really pleased. He's enabler as well at 5.7. He just comes in. Grealish, I like Grealish. I think Man City's fixtures get better later on, and we know, could we say Man City are fixture proof? Not sure. We know how good an attacking they are. He looks as nailed on as anyone in that side. The fact that De Bruyne looks like he's being managed a little bit more carefully now means that perhaps he isn't going to be playing every game, and therefore Grealish will be. We need to keep an eye on him. For 8 million, I feel we can jump to some other midfielders though on a similar price point if we need to. But I like Grealish. I think if Man City start kicking in and getting more points and scoring more freely, then he could be a big part of that. Benrahma, he's one I could, again, he could jump across to some other players. I've mentioned Hanusi already. He's got great statistics. So possibly someone like that. There's a Kovacic potentially, but that would use up a Chelsea spot. I am open to suggestions with Benrahma. It seems that really fickle ownership on him. People were getting rid of him. He scores no sort of deflected goal against Manchester United. Everyone's back on him. But at the moment, he seems to be in that West Ham midfield. West Ham are scoring every game. So I like him. I think I'm going to keep him in there for now being. But those two slots, perhaps Grealish and Benrahma, look to me to be possibly open to negotiating in my wildcard. Looking up front, I'm going to skip over Armstrong a minute. Lukaku just look at his fixtures. I'm not even going to mention anything else about that. He just looks phenomenal. He's an absolute must-have for me. Antonio as well. His figures have been brilliant. Slight concerns about what European football. Does he start playing twice a week? The rumours out of West Ham are that he cannot do that. They will manage him. So are they going to target the Premier League or is it going to be Europa League? We'll have to wait and see. That suspension sort of forced him to miss the Man U game. That's actually helped in the long run, I think, make a decision for us against him. But 1.25, brilliant XG. I don't know what's going to happen with penalties. It could be that Benrahma gets them if Noble's not on the pitch. It would have been interesting if Benrahma had stayed on the pitch in the last minute against Man U. He'd already been subbed, so then Noble obviously came on. If he was on the pitch, would he have taken him? He used to take them for Brentford, so that may be another green tick against Benrahma's name. Armstrong, really cheap. Oh, we'll look at his stats in a second, but he's got some great fixtures. He has that Chelsea away game. He's nailed on that Southampton side, and he just has some really good fixtures. His XG is not by any stretch of the imagination very exciting, but if we start to look at him in a second, you'll see some of his stats look amazing. Tariq Lamptey then, let's go back to defensively. I think it's worth remembering a bit about Tariq Lamptey. If you played FPL last season, you will know that he was just an absolute brilliant asset at the start of last season. He came from Chelsea to Brighton, and here he is in his Chelsea outfit, in his Chelsea kit. And last season, he had a great season. 35 points. He played 11 games. He got one goal, 3 assists, 2 clean sheets. He was playing as a fullback, but he was so attacking there. Shots in the box, just to give you an illustration of how attacking he was. 5.5, so 0.5, nearly a shot every 2 games inside the box. He was taking shots outside the box. But to put that in context, I mean, Trent only takes less than that. You've got Reece James and Luke Shaw, much less than that. Marcus Alonso, who's just insanely attacking, who just plays further forward than Lukaku at times. I think he's an absolute animal in his own right. But Lamptey's right up there. I looked at the most attacking players I could. I thought, well, let's have a look how far forward is he getting, and that's what he's producing. The fact that Graham Potter has even talked about him being in contention for this weekend sort of gives us an indication, given how long he's been out, that how highly they rate him and how much they want him in the side. He played 45 minutes in the Carabao Cup in midweek. And he got taken off, and then they're talking about contention. I'm shocked to see it. I'll be amazed if he maybe even makes the bench. But that's how highly rated he was. Last year he was fantastic. He had that horrible, horrendous injury that's kept him out for nearly a year. Before that, I'm pretty sure there was talk about Bayern Munich and teams like that looking into him. He was that well thought of. But Tariq Lamptey, 4.4 as a way into that Brighton defence, really looks to me as if it can't be ignored. I'd love to see a fit Tariq Lamptey playing, but there has to be some doubts over to his fitness and how he's going to progress. But 4.4, maybe it's worth taking a risk. People have got the likes of Veltman in their side, just as a way of getting it into that Brighton side. Well, Lamptey offers so much more than that. And there was talk of him playing more as a left winger, but they've got obviously a right winger rather with Cucurella there, and you've got other players playing out there already, and they're playing so well. Maybe it will be harder for him to get into the side. But Tariq Lamptey is definitely on my radar and one that I will have a look at, and I'll be interested this weekend to see how many minutes he gets and what Graham Potter says about him. The other one was then we looked at Adam Armstrong come to Southampton over the summer, big money signing, replacing Danny Ings. Just as a guide then, again, Southampton have had some tough fixtures. At home to West Ham, they drew a blank. They went to Man City. He could easily have picked up an assist there with a penalty. He scored on the opening day, got another assist for another penalty he won at Newcastle. But he's nailed on up front for Southampton. So there's no worry about his position. Shots in the box, you got Ronaldo just insane, but it's only a small sample size. You got Lukaku just 3.5 shots a game. Antonio 3, Bamford 2.8, and Armstrong comes down there. So I'm comparing him with similar players of similar prices. Now Armstrong's only 6, so everyone above that, your Bamfords, your Jimenez, he's only just behind in terms of shots on goal. He's had harder fixtures, and he's a lot cheaper. So I think he's a lot to be said for Armstrong making it into the side. For 6 million, he's an enabler. I'll be interested to see how he's getting on, and the fixtures look really nice for him. Okay, guys, I hope you really enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. Please press that like button and subscribe for more great content. In the meantime, I'll see you soon.